So it's time to come clean about my addiction. And the truth is, I've struggled with this for a while, especially the past 6 months. And my addiction is buying stocks when they are low, baby. Let's go. Most people are addicted to alcohol, drugs. Me too, but I'm also addicted to buying stocks at these valuations. We take a look at the markets. We got a huge pullback recently. Um, SP 500 VU is under $500 a share. Amazing, love to see it. 25% of our portfolio, and I'm actually glad that we kind of buffed this position up before the market downturn, because it kind of like, I don't want to say held up our portfolio, but if we were more into the Mag 7, we'd have a bigger pullback than we do right now for our portfolio. Take a look at the QQQ. Let's see. It's down about, I think, 10% from its highs. It says only 5% for the month, but if you take the change from here all the way down to here, it's about a 10% correction. So really glad we did that. Now, there's a lot to talk about today. Today's been a good day, man. Let's talk about some stuff. Drinking my little protein shake right now. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So this week was a very important week, like I told you guys last video. Take a look at our weekly chart. Look at this volatility right here. You know, we're pretty much flat. We're down a little bit, but I mean, we were down, let's see, 1.5%, then up 4.2% above that 20 grand mark. But we can't hold that 20 grand mark to save our lives because the market keeps going down. But whatever, we're cool, man. It's all good. We're not stressing. Now we're back down to 19.5K. Remember, we're adding around, $250 a week, sometimes more. And lately I've been adding a lot more because I've just been trying to get my hands on as much of these shares as I can. So Microsoft, Meta, Apple, Amazon all announced earnings this week. And most of them, reported decent results. I know today was Apple and Amazon's earnings day. And Amazon had some mixed results. Apple, I think, barely beat estimates. Microsoft, I believe the Azure, whatever you call it, or cloud growth was a little slower than expected, so the stock reacted negatively. Meta reported earnings yesterday and did really good. Meta is so slept on, man. I didn't get my dad on here. He always told me about Meta. I was like, Meta's a good stock. It's gonna go up to $1,000 a share, and it's artificial intelligence. I didn't really believe him, but he's right. And especially when you compare Meta's valuation to the rest of the Mag 7, and just considering its growth, it's very attractive. Even after today, even up here, when it was up 10%, it's still a screaming buy. It's more of a buy than any of these stocks, quite frankly, in my opinion. So I actually bought some more today. I'm up to 5 shares. I might buff it up to 6 or 7. I don't know. I am addicted to buying Meta right now, and also Google. So as you see, Meta and Google are our top 2 positions now over Microsoft and Amazon. But now that Microsoft's down to 416 and Amazon took a huge hit today, down 8.5%, crazy. If I can get some shares under 170, that'd be awesome. So I would love to buy some at these levels. I mean, it's only up 77% the past 5 years. I think in 5 years, we're going to look back at these prices and be like, oh my gosh, I wish that was the buying opportunity of a lifetime. So I'm really trying to buy as much as possible. Because I remember a few videos ago, guys, I was telling you guys, like, man, the market's kind of high right now. Like, all the stocks I like they're just expensive. But now we're finally getting this opportunity to buy some stocks again. I mean, look at Nvidia. Nvidia's been so volatile. It's been insane. Like, now it's overnight market. Yesterday it was up like 12%, 15%. I mean, look, down to $100 a share pretty much, up to 120, and then back down to 109. What is this? So just a lot of emotional trading. The chip sector as a whole has been kind of whack recently. I've actually been looking at AMD recently. AMD's down to $130 a share, and they announced earnings yesterday, I believe, and it was somewhat strong results, I think. Maybe was it yesterday or the day before? I'm not sure, but I mean, up to $150 a share, down to 130, just like that. And it is kind of expensive on a PE ratio standpoint, but when you look at the potential, I mean, if AMD is the runner-up after Nvidia, this thing can see some great growth. I mean, it's only up 15% the past year. 5 years, it's up almost 300%. So I honestly think AMD is kind of attractive here. And the only thing that worries me, or what kind of turns me off about AMD, is I like to buy best-in-class companies, okay? So What I mean by that is I don't want to buy AMD when I can buy Nvidia. When Nvidia is the king of AI chips, I don't want to buy the Walmart brand. I don't want to buy the Great Value chips. I want to buy the Louis Vuitton of AI chips, and that's Nvidia right now. But still, I think there's some money to be made here, especially long term. I mean, you give it a 5-year outlook. I think this can see some big potential, guys. If AMD can catch up with Nvidia, but that's a big if. Then I could see this. I mean, it was just what, $207 a share. I remember that. I just think there's some money to be made here. So I'm gonna do some more research on that. See what, some of my, I don't want to say influencers are saying, but I really like watching Joseph Carlson. I recommend you guys watch him. Fired Up Wealth is a good one too, and Financial Education is another good channel I like to watch. Yeah, I like watching those guys, and they actually give some pretty good information and advice. Now, always take advice, with a grain of salt, because nobody knows, what stock's going to do, especially in the short term. But a lot of these guys have long-term outlooks, which is great. I'm getting distracted right now. Let me get a sip of my drink. So, what stocks are good buys right now? And I'm about to give you guys a list. First off, let me go over some stocks that I don't think are buys right now. That's Tesla, Apple, and I think that's pretty much it. And Palantir's is still a little expensive. I mean, I want it around $20 a share. It announced earnings soon, so maybe if earnings disappoint, we'll get like $18 to $20 a share. That'd be awesome. Or it could pop to 30. There's no telling. But Tesla and Apple, I am not buying right now. I actually sold another share of Tesla today at like 220 because it's just so overvalued. And I know I talk about Tesla. I'm extremely bullish on Tesla long term, extremely bullish. But when you take into consideration, the robo-taxi and Optimus robots, not only do we have to get these things rolling, like starting, we have to see some result in the financials of this company. We have no financial results for any of these products yet. There's just a lot of hope and optimism, and there is huge potential, but these things are just a really long ways away. So I'm hoping this stock continues to pull back under $200 a share, hopefully under 170. That's where I love to buy, or under 180. Still holding. Always want to have some exposure, but Tesla can be a huge win for me long term, but it's just going to take some time. I honestly think it's going to need to be about 5 years before we see any meaningful impacts on the financial sheet of Tesla. So it just needs some time, man. Everybody wants to get in Tesla for the moonshot and they want this to happen again, and I think it will eventually. But I mean, look at the max thing. I mean, it went up here from $1 pre-split or whatever to 10, and then it was flat for 10 years. I mean, a while, like 6 or 7 years. So I honestly think this was going to happen here. I think we need some years of consolidation, and for the robotaxi and the Optimus robot to develop, and we haven't even sold a single robot or had a first robotaxi ride yet. We haven't had the robotaxi event. So there's just a lot of hope and optimism for that, but just give it some time to cook. Tesla will win eventually. Just need some time, but I'm not buying it at these levels. You're smoking crack. Anyways, so what stocks are good buys? Honestly, I like valuations of all the other stocks in my portfolio, especially Meta, Google, Amazon. Now that it's down to 170, I mean, hell, Microsoft's pretty attractive. I mean, it's kind of expensive, when you look at the PE ratio for PE, but one thing about Microsoft is it has very close ties with OpenAI. So that deserves a premium on its own, but it's experienced a little bit of a pullback recently. And every dip in Microsoft's a buy, in my opinion. So I like it around these levels. A little lower would be great. Maybe around the $400 level would be awesome. If the market continues to pull back, I'd love to buy another share too. What else? We got Apple, like I said, not buying there. Nvidia. If I had some extra cash on hand, I would probably have picked up a share or two of Nvidia at $100. the truth is with Nvidia, what worries me about Nvidia is right now there's a lot of AI hype and a lot of companies spending on AI. So what happens in 3 years whenever all these databases are established, all the chips are bought, and God forbid companies aren't experiencing the benefits they thought they would from AI, which I don't think that's going to happen. I think companies will benefit from AI and their spend on AI. I mean, all the big companies like Microsoft and Meta, they're spending Tesla. They're spending huge amounts of money on Nvidia GPUs. So and Nvidia is not just like, oh well, we're good. We're just gonna stay with what we got. They're still innovating with H200s, A300s in the future. So I think they will continue to innovate. And if you believe in full self driving and automation and robots and really everything AI, Nvidia is a must own. It just is. I could very well see Nvidia being the most valuable company in the world one day. One day in the near future as well. I mean, it's already, I think, the most valuable company around this time. So I could see that. I could see Nvidia going to $200, $300 a share in 5 years. So back to our portfolio. Next stock, CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike's an expensive stock, and the energy around CrowdStrike's horrible. Everybody's like, oh, well, they're getting, like, they just got some lawsuits from Delta Airlines for the outage, and I expected that. There's gonna be many more lawsuits, I think. And I hope they keep coming. I mean, no offense, CrowdStrike, but if that's what makes the stock go down, then I'm gonna continue buying. I only have like $750, about 3.5 shares. I would not be afraid to get up to 10 shares here. Long term, I think cybersecurity is going to do great, and I think CrowdStrike's going to be the leader in it. Not only do they specialize in cybersecurity, they're using AI with cybersecurity. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer. So that's what happens. That's what I wrote down here. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but that's why you shouldn't be stressing over the short-term market movers and stuff like that. Is because when you zoom out and look at the long-term, opportunities, and there's just a lot of room to run here. I mean, it was just at $400 a share. Now it's at $220. So, yeah, I'd love to pick some more up at these levels. If it drops to 200, that'd be even better. I mean, my average cost is at 260, but I'm not even worried about it because I'm gonna keep adding so much money that's gonna bring my average cost down. And long term, it's gonna be way higher than 260 a share. So, I'm not stressing about that whatsoever. It's gonna be kind of a long video today. Next up, we got Salesforce, a pretty good buy, like around $250 or less. Not much to say about that one. Probably add a little bit there. Snowflake, I want to buy some more. I want to buy 2-3 more shares, maybe more. I like it. $125 or less is great. My average cost is at $150. Again, this is a long-term AI play. Software has just been getting beat up recently, and I think eventually, once all this hardware stuff gets established, then the software will take over and have a huge run. So I think this can have a lot of potential long-term. That's one of my long-term speculative plays. Shopify, it's back in the $50 range. It's actually below my average cost. I love it. I want to pick up some shares here as well. So I'm saying, guys, everything right now is a buy, honestly, to me. Shopify's growth is great. It's a little expensive, but when you have a company that has good growth, you're going to pay up for it. So I could easily see this being $100 a share stock in the next 2-3 years. Honestly, I mean, easy. So I like Shopify at these levels. Palantir, touched a little bit on it, but it's had a little bit of a dip recently. Got earnings coming up. I'm sure I'll make a video covering their earnings, and we'll see what the stock does and how it reacts. Hopefully it goes down. I'd love to pick up some more shares. I want a decent position in Palantir. I would like to have around, at least like, I don't know, 30 or 40 shares. So I could see this being $100 a share company in the long term. It'd be a few years, but I could definitely see it happening because it's still a very new company, and it's really revolutionizing the battlefield and everything else with artificial intelligence. So take a look at my watch list here. These are attractive as well. I like Dell because Dell has to do with building the data centers and stuff like that. Celsius has taken a huge hit, and they have great growth. Supermicro, I'm kind of iffy about Supermicro, honestly, but it's had a good dip recently, so I think it has room to run. But just on my watch list. None of them I'm really like obsessed with right now. I mean, I still like Starbucks. I like Starbucks better than Nike. Every time I go to a Starbucks with my girlfriend Nadia, she loves Starbucks. It's pretty packed all the time, and I mean it's like a subscription service because all these people go to Starbucks like almost every day, every week before work. So, but yeah, so there was a Fed meeting this week, and pretty much they just talked about how they're gonna keep rates the same for now, but they were really hinting at a rate cut in September. Now, if the market's pricing in a rate cut in September, if we don't get a rate cut in September, the market's going to act very negatively to that because the market doesn't like uncertainty. So I'll conclude this video. I've been talking forever, but my plan for the next few months for my portfolio is just buy as much as I can. All these stocks that I went over today, I think are buys. I'm going to be adding to as much as possible. I'm going to start buying very aggressively. I think this is a huge buying opportunity, and this isn't financial advice, but this is my conviction, and I think these are just great prices, and in the future we're going to look back and say, man, this is a great buying opportunity. So I really want to make this channel successful as well. I'm thinking about changing the name to, like, I don't know, if you guys have any name ideas, just comment them. But yeah, I want to be more active on this channel and a little more legit too. I want to get like a face cam and stuff. I just don't know how to set it up. I'm not very tech savvy, so I'll try and get that figured out. But thank you guys for watching. I know it's kind of a long one today, and I hope your guys are successful with y'all's trading, or maybe you guys are long-term investors like me. But I wish you guys success, and I will see you guys in the next video.